Hello and good evening. Phew. Well, after a very swift, now where's my phone? Here we are. After a swift 5 days of Christmas, day 2, here we are again. So hello to everybody. Can't get on the website. Oh goodness. I hope the website hasn't crashed. So Lindsay's telling me. Oh my goodness. I have got my phone today. I can see there are people watching, coming now. I should think you have just had time to make a cuppa and sit back down again. But let's have a look, see if we're here, see if I can... Oh no, yes. Oh yes, 6 comments. Well, I never. Oh yes, it's very, very quiet. So, hello Jill, hello John. Oh goodness. Oh, wrong way. I always do that. Hello Catherine, Christine, Tony. Fancy seeing you there too. Seems like I only saw you a few moments ago. Hello Liz, hello Anne. Hello Gita, hello Polly-Ann. In your kitchen once again. Sausages, but oh my goodness. Oh, you're making me hungry. I don't know what I've got tonight. I'll have to wait and see. Hello Pat, hello Elaine, hello Alison, hello Joanna, Michelle, Carol, Mary, and Lindsay's there too. How's me? How's Martin, Dad, Mum? Mum must be the most chipper of us all. Well, I'm fine actually. Martin's still hobbling, just waiting. Dad, up and down, today quite good. But yeah, not wonderful. But thank you for asking. It's very kind of you. I send in all your well wishes all the time. Hello Marion again. Hello Linda, hello Vanessa. Long time no see. Yep, all of 10 minutes I would say. Hello Carol, hello Pamela, hello Jane, hello Kim, hello Beverly, and oh thank you Jill. Yeah, it's sad times really, but you have to carry on. One big family here, you're absolutely right Jill. It really, really is. I can see lots more of you are watching as well. There's Ellen. Hello Ellen, hope you're well too. Christine. Oh, error connecting to database. I'm sure it will come back shortly. I think everybody rushed over there and it wasn't used to so much activity in one go. Just watching your 8-year-old giving his granddad a shot. Oh, bless Shirley. A little bit like me when I do that for my dad as well. But 8 years old. Bless him. Hello Shirley. Hello Catherine. Absolutely. I think I said hello Catherine. I am blessed. I mean, my dad, bless him, is 88 and my mum is 89. So, you know, it is, as Martin says to me on a regular basis, I don't know anybody who has still got both of their parents with us. So I am very, very lucky and blessed. Hello Sandra. Oh, you can get on the website now, Lindsay. Brilliant. So it is working. It is working. Hello Lorraine. And Bev's watching too. Well, you've had a sneaky peek then, haven't you? All those that were watching. And this is what we are going to do. Let me show you the back. Look at that. I'm rather pleased with that. What I would say, if you have a walking foot, every time put your walking foot on, it does make a huge difference. It looks as though I've actually measured all those squares, but I haven't. So when I've come to the quilting, can you see I've just used, now let me have a look, I've got a screwdriver here. I've just used the points. So I'm looking for the point here. So I started from an edge here, and I've gone across to that point of there, the floral square. I've gone to the next point. So you're just doing a diagonal line all the way down to the end. And in some places, you can then go out on the next diagonal line, like there. Whoops, you can't see there, can you? Like there. And then come back up the next one. It doesn't work for all of them, but it saves you actually drawing your quilting lines because you've got the points and going diagonally across So like this grey here, so just go diagonally across to where the next points meet, and then diagonally across the next one. These ones are a little bit more to look for. No, it's where you're going straight across the diagonal of the flower. That's quite easy too. But this is really straightforward. It looks as though, oh my goodness, how are we going to get all these darker grey bits? Is this live on the 25th? Or you've got a comment there, Lindsay, no doubt you've seen it. And it looks as though the floral here is overlaid over, whoops, I'm doing this the wrong way, not that way, this way, overlaid over that one and that one, if you see what I mean. Overlaid over this one and this one or this one. But it is so easy, and it really is. And you can see, if you look at those centre flowers, there are 12 blocks. And I've made one so that I can show you. And do you know what I did? I actually sewed pieces together with the wrong side of the fabric. But here is a block. Let me show you. There is a block, and you are going to be making 12 of those, and really they are very straightforward. And I've got the quickest ways of doing them as well. Although I haven't brought my cutting mat in here with me, but we're going to do a little bit of cutting tonight as well. So let us begin. Now there are kits on the website. I know some of you do like to have a kit. So the kits are on the website, and there is a discount code. So please take a look in the group. There is a post, full colour, telling you what the code is for a discount as well. So it's on the website for anybody else, but you will get a discount for being in the group. So by this point in time, you have saved far more than your £5 membership fee. And there's also next week, which will be Monday evening. Oh, that'll be, we'll have a quick one on Monday evening to do the giveaway. And that will be on the So Totally Trisha page, not just in the group, because we like to show what people could win if they were in the group. So here is our block, nice and straightforward. Here are the instructions, which in a kit you will get them printed out like this, but they are uploaded into the group on a PDF for you to download as soon as you can. Oh, hello Karen, hello Kathleen, hello Jane. It isn't complicated, Gita. You know me. Oh, your order's in, Angela. Oh, bless you. Thank you. Hello, Joanne. Hello, Jill. Hello, Leslie. The wadding I use, Gita, as always with these, is Thermolam. I've got a bit of... No, I haven't got Thermolam. No, I've popped it over there. Thermolam is like the thick felt one, and it makes your mini quilts beautifully flat. So really good. Oh, no, you're not a technophobe, Michelle. So, let's see. Oh, right. Hello, Jane. Hello, Jane. Oh, yeah, I'm showing you my credit cards again, aren't I? Oh, I'm a nightmare. Sorry. Hello, Christine. Yes. Okay, let's pop that over there. I'm sure at some point the comments will come up, but I'm going to have my head down in the sewing, aren't I? So, in the kit, you will get all your wadding, your backing fabric, which is more often than not the Quilters Quality Calico. You will get the squares for the centres cut. You'll get strips of fabric for the outer, the pale grey and the dark grey. You'll get border strips in 2 colours, and the binding strips all ready for you to put together. And of course you will have the video demonstration to look back on, as well as printed instructions for you to make it up. When I have finally got really sorted and I have got a blank wall, I'm going to put all my mini quilts on the blank wall, and I think it will look great. Probably have mug rugs on there too. I just can't wait for the day when I've got everything sorted out. We're getting there, on the way, but there's still a way to go. So, let us begin. So you will have, I have done one already, which is, where's it gone? Where has it gone? It's probably fallen on the floor. But I have done one already. You will get 2 lots of strips. Let me just stand up a moment. Oh, good grief, it's just... Oh no, I've cut them, haven't I? Yeah. I've cut the other ones, but you will get, or you will need 2 widths of fabric. These ones are 2.5 inches wide. The other ones will be, you can see I've already cut, 1.5 inches wide. So rather than cutting, like for this one, 1.5 inch squares and stitching them together, we're going to do it in a much easier way. So let us begin. Oh, also, so there are my 2 strips. You will have all your squares. So what I wanted to use was a bright colour. I wanted a bright colour with a more subtle background. So this is a from the Hungry Caterpillar range actually, but I thought it was beautifully bright, and I thought that's what we would use. And also because of the large scale pattern, you've got a different look to each centre square that we're going to be stitching around. So the first thing we're going to do though is, because we want little strips, we're going to sew these 2 strips together. So we must take care. Now I am going to put, you should be having them right sides of fabric together, but because I've stitched my other one wrongly, I'm going to do this wrong as well. So I am putting, this should be right sides of fabric together, and aligning those edges. We're going to stitch all the way down that that strip, and you'll do that for both the 1.5 inch widths and the 2 inch width, 2.5 inch widths, 1.5 and 2.5. So patchwork foot on, or 1/4 inch foot, or move your needle over to the 5.5 position with your standard foot, and that will give you a 1/4 inch seam, or however you do make your 1/4 inch seam, because the more accurate that you are, the better it will come together. Also stitch length, we will do 1.8, 2, something like that, a smaller stitch length, which will give you, there we are. So like this block here, when I pull those fabrics apart, you can't even see that wasn't even made in one piece, because the stitches are so small, you can't see them. Whereas if you did a longer length stitch, when you pulled it, you would see lots of little vertical lines where the stitching is, but you really can't see, apart from the where I pressed it back, you can see that's joined, but these pieces look as though they were actually woven or printed in one piece, but they're not. So as I say, we are going to stitch with a small stitch length of 1.8 or 2, and then we're just going to stitch down the whole length of the strips. So set the foot down, and I'm watching, I'm holding it here, and I'm keeping my fingers either side just to keep that running through absolutely spot on for our 1/4 inch seam. And as I say, it will make all those, so just run it back with your fingers if it doesn't look quite as though it's matching. And when we stitch down, we will actually need the majority of this, because we are going to cut 24 pieces. So we'll just keep stitching for the moment, like so. Stitch down here. Now you see it's not quite in line there, so just push that over with your finger. So you shouldn't be able to see the fabric underneath, and then you shouldn't see any at this side either. Then you know that it's beautifully aligned, nearly at the bottom, but I can see those are lined up beautifully. And just let that stick its way all the way down, and cut the threads. So there we have our long piece. I'm just going to pop the iron on now and just plug that in, and we will pull the ironing board towards us so you can see how I like to do my pressing. So let's just pull that in here so that you can see. We'll just twizzle that around and we will pop our strip onto the ironing board. Now you could use a pressing mat, but when we've got long strips like this, I always feel it's much better to have a long length of board. So I'm going to set the seam first of all, so just press the whole way along the strips, and that was where the fold of the fabric was, so we want to press that. Setting the seam just makes it open out much better. So we've set the seam there. All I'm going to do now is open it up and push the side of my iron against the seam, and then just pull that along, and again side of the iron, so that it's opening my fabric right out. We don't want to iron in any creases, any pleats, so just open it, push the iron away from that edge. So I'm almost doing a circular motion, and also we want this to remain completely straight. We don't want it to be, can you see how nicely straight that is along that seam there? So by doing that, we keep that beautifully straight. Right, so now I need to cut 24 1.5 inch increments. So let me just get my mat here, and there is my mat. And what we're going to do, I'm going to do it nice and easily. So you can take your ruler and, let's see my little ruler. I want a black ruler really so that you can see, but I've only got a white one here. So 1.5 inches. So I've got my little ruler here where I've got the 1/2 inch over there, and I can use that line for cutting my accurate measurements. So I just need my rotary cutter. Okay. This is what happens when you're doing everything in a rush. So what we can do, I've actually got my shape and cut, which allows me to cut all of these really, really quickly. But what I'll do first of all, I'm going to pop that down here. What you would do with your ruler, I would first of all, you're using your ruler going perpendicular to your fabric, and I'm just going to trim that off, so I've trimmed the selvage off. Now you can do through 2 layers at a time, so I'm just going to lay that one on top of the other. My mat isn't long enough, but I'm just lining those edges up, and then I know that is completely straight. Okay, so I'm just going to move that along a little bit, because obviously I've trimmed off the selvage on one piece but not the other. So you'll use your ruler, but I'm going to use my shape and cut, which, because I want to cut lots of them, let's just move this back here. I'll move this around a little bit further so that you can see. And I might even, that's it, pull you in here. So my fingers here, that's it. So when I'm using this, it means that I can cut multiple, just line it up down there. I'm cutting through 2 layers, but I can cut my strips much more easily. So I'm lining up that bottom line here with the edge of my fabric, and the very first slit here is, there's a little teardrop shape where I can put my rotary cutter in, and then if I want I can take that away, but that has trimmed off my selvage. So I want 1.5 inch widths of this. So all I'm going to do is cut in the 1.5, then the 3, then the 4.5. There's my finger. So I'm just going to hold it down at the side, and I'm going to go, you see how quick this is, 1.5, 3, 4.5, moving my fingers along but making sure I'm not in the cutting area, 7.5, 9, 10.5, Right, I'm going to take those away first of all because I need, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 cut just like that, or 14 even. And then I'm going to move that across, make sure it's still aligned, and then I'm going to replace my shape cut on here with that line at the side, at the edge of the fabric, and I'm going to start again. So 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5. I think I might have too many now. 9. Okay. So I've cut all my pieces there. Move that out of the way. So I've got another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We'll keep that big bit. So I have got all my pieces cut as quickly as that. But of course you can just use your rotary cutter and ruler to cut all of that. So the next thing we're going to do is we'll come back to the machine, and we need now, we have all of our pieces. So I've kept them in the same orientation, dark at the bottom. Oops, we're a bit sideways, aren't we? So dark at the bottom like so, and light at the top. And I've already done that with my 1.5 inch strips. So these, when we joined them together, were 2.5 inches wide. These ones were 1.5. You can see the difference. So we need some of each. So I'm going to, for speed, we are going to chain piece. So I've done one, but I've got 11 more squares here. So let's just come in. Oops, go away. That's it, a little bit closer. So we're going to, I've got all my squares sitting here. We'll pop them just there. No, you can't see that. Wrong way. Let's pop them just here so you can see them. Just there. So I've taken my square. If you've got a fabric that has no direction, it doesn't matter which way you do it. So first of all, we're going to take our pieces, and I want the dark piece to be at the top left. So I'm going to just line it. So I'm just going to take that to the machine, and again with our short stitch length, we are going to stitch along there. Then I'm going to take another piece, and I'm going to do exactly the same. The dark at the top, we put the lighter one at the bottom there, and the dark at the top. So we're stitching them all in the same way. So we will now take our next one. I should have my darks all at the top, that's right. So I've got my darks at the top. So light at the bottom, dark at the top, straight down there. Make sure the fabric is the right way up. Light at the bottom, dark at the top. And we've got 12 of these to do. So, oh, I've got far too many here. I didn't count them, did I? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up. Light at the bottom, dark at the top. So that is 6. This is light at the bottom. So that is 7. This one is 8. So if you have got them all stacked in the right direction, then you'll be popping them on in the right way. Can't remember what that number was now. We'll count in a minute. Make sure your fabric's up the right way. So dark at the top, light at the bottom. Let's just count those again. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 I've done, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, why have I got one there? Okay. So here is, oh, it's because it's there. There is 12. So we don't need any more. So just do these ones. So again, I'm taking the light fabric at the bottom, and I tend to line that up because we've only just cut these, we know they will fit perfectly. So there's one, another light at the bottom, and carry on stitching down, and again light at the bottom, and carry on stitching. So at this point, if you want to, you can clip all of these apart, but we are going to stitch on the other side. So let's take all that strip there. There's my strip all hanging together. So I've turned it round so that now I can do exactly the same on the other side of the square. So light at the bottom and dark at the top. And because we've flipped them round, that is why, let's make sure that's lined up at the top there. Yep, that's fine. That is why we're able to put them on in exactly the same way. So light at the bottom, dark at the top. There's that one there. Light at the bottom, dark at the top. It's surprising how quickly, well, as I'm doing it all, apart from one, you can see how quickly this will come together. So if you wanted to do different sizes, you would need to work out just what the sizes of your strip should be, but who knows, at some point I might do that just for you. But this being a mini quilt, obviously I wanted it to be in small proportions. Oh, don't want to stitch two together there, do we? So a light at the bottom. So it's the same orientation on both sides because we've been able to flip it around. So light at the bottom here. And it's only after this point, when we've got them all stitched together, that we will flip them apart. There's one. I'm sure you are already getting the idea of this. So light one at the bottom, and dark at the top. Keep that 1/4 inch seam going nicely, no veering in at the bottom, just straight under. And we're also saving thread, aren't we? By not trimming in between, we're saving thread, you know, that long piece in between that you trim off. And that's the other thing, it saves you having to trim it off all the time as well. So there's just a small amount in between. So that last one is going on there and underneath. Okay, so there we have all of our pieces. So now I do just clip front and back and then stack them as I go. There we are. So with my little clippers, I love these little clippers because they just snip where I want them to snip. Make sure you don't cut the, there we are. So we've got those, and I'll just make another pile here. And then when we've got this pile, we do need to do a little bit of pressing because everything fits together beautifully if we press as we go. So ironing board back in. So here we go. Ironing board is here. We'll take, we don't need any more cutting, I don't believe. We'll put that out of the way. We'll pop those on the floor. And look, let's just bring this in a little bit closer. So we have all of our squares that we've just sewn, and I'll do them one at a time. So I will press, so I'm setting the seam here, and then I'm going to open it out and push it back and straight across the other side. So there's one done just like that. So again, set the seam, open and press back, and when you come back, just open that out as well. Let's pop that there. And I have done one, so there will be one more, there'll be 11 more to do. So we'll just stack those as we go. Press, set the seam, open out both sides and set the seam. It's good to do this sitting down like I am. Saves the back, doesn't it? So set the seam, open out and press back. Set the seam, open out and press back. And what we're going to find now is that other set of strips which we made very quickly and then trimmed up very quickly too is going to fit. It's going to fit the opposite sides. So set the seam, nearly forgot there, open out, press back, set the seam, open out and press back. Okay, there we have all of our pile of partly finished, partly I say, move that out of the way, and we'll put those back down onto the machine. So the next thing we're going to need is we are going to, when we look at this one here, we are going to need to put our sides on, or the other two pieces. So these are the 2.5 inch width ones which are here. Now the only thing we need to look at, I have got them all in the same orientation here, so the dark's at the bottom, light at the top, and so here we need to make sure whatever is at the top, which is our light one, is at the top and the dark here, we're going to put our light against the light. And what we will do, we're going to stitch down here and then we will swivel it round, and we can do exactly the same again, light at the top and dark at the bottom. So let's just do that one side for all of them. So whichever side, it doesn't matter if you haven't got these the same way round. What you will when you do it is have them opposite at top and bottom. So here you've got the dark at the top left. You don't want the dark down here, you want it diagonally opposite. So whichever way round it is, when we come to put the next piece, we need to make sure that that is the same colour there as there, so it joins up. So I like to put my dark one down, and then that should fit like it has right up to the top, and it's exactly the same. So again, we'll just ping along here if you want to, or just stitch down. And I've got all of these in the same orientation, so I can just pick one up, pop it down, and again line that up at the bottom. Just make sure that fits at the top, or line up at the top and then make sure it fits at the bottom. So we'll just stitch down here, and when I do that, the bottom one, I'll just give it a little pull, or just make sure that that fits there exactly. And this is all aligned at this side as well. So that one's there. We'll take the next one over, and we'll pick up our dark at the bottom, light at the top, and that fits nicely, which is just what we wanted to do. You will, of course, have your right sides of fabric together. So dark at the bottom there, line that up, just make sure that that, if it doesn't line up very well at the top, when you start at the bottom, I would then start at the top and make sure the bottom matches there. And just grab that seam and just pull that in alignment with the edge. So we'll take the next one over, and we'll put dark at the bottom. As you can see there, the dark is matching with the dark as well. So that needs to come up just a little bit. Just make sure that's perfectly aligned at the top. And that one's got a little bit. Now sometimes when you've pressed your seam, one is open just a little bit more than the other. So let's just make sure that seam is going the right way under there, because I do want that to go under there. So just make sure that fits at that end. So again, I could take the top first, like so, and just make sure it doesn't catch the seams, and then give it a little pull to fit at the bottom, because sometimes it doesn't quite fit, but we will see there's a little bit more there, but that will get sewn into the seams. So I do like to pop that at the bottom really, but if it needs to go at the top first, line up at the top and then just pull that dark one down and make that fit. What you don't want is a difference in length of the fabrics at the bottom. So line that up at the top, start stitching there, and then just pull that grey down, because perhaps this seam wasn't open quite enough when I pressed it. So by just giving it that little pull, it will be in exactly the right place. Sometimes it will be, so I've lined that at the top, pop it under the needle, and then just pull that down to line it up. And make sure, if you can help it, you don't want the seams going opposite to how you press them. And then this one, I think we've got 2 more to do. So let's just line that up down there. Oh, the tiniest bit. Okay, so line up at the top and then line up at the bottom. That's perfect. Hold that seam down, mind your fingers. So you can, if you want to, put pins in here, absolutely fine, but there we are, that one lines up perfectly as well. So just, except it's not lined up at the side, and the last one of those. So down we go. Now I think we'll do all the pressing like we did before. So I've got these all in a long line, and all I'm going to do is swivel it around so that we can stitch down the other side. So it is the same again, dark at the bottom, because you can see that dark one here needs to be next to that dark one. So just flip that over, and that lines up at the top, which is just what we wanted to happen. And just push that seam down, it's opened up a little bit. And then we'll take the next one, and you can see I like lining up at the bottom, but these ones are coming together very nicely. And that's that one there. I'm just going to, don't really want the weight of this hanging, so I'm just going to put it on the side so that the fabric passes under the foot easily. Right, so that one needs to go up a little bit there, and stitch, and then hold it back at the bottom, and that's going beautifully there. So next one, again dark at the bottom, that is going there, just push that up to the top, and we'll make it fit at the bottom here. So that's lined up. Push that down. Oops, that's coming over. There we are. So there's another one. And dark at the bottom. Light at the top. That fits nicely. I'm just feeling the seam is going the way we pressed it. Sometimes they do open up a little bit, or they go the wrong way, but we can deal with that once we get to it. So again, dark at the bottom and lighter at the top. Oh, let's just line that up nicely there, making sure that side seam, there we go, that's better. Go straight down. So we are doing pretty well. It's 7:10 and we are almost there really. So let's just move that. So I'm just lining that up with the top now, and then that's lined up at the bottom, and you can see all I'm doing is just matching it end to end. So again, dark to that bottom one, and you'll soon see if it isn't quite right. So again, hold that seam down, take the next one in, dark at the bottom. So those little steps of making sure they're all stacked in the same orientation means you're saving time, and also you're saving the risk of putting them together wrongly, in the wrong way, and then you need to make friends with Jack, which I know we do a lot. So I'm just moving that over. But sometimes Jack can just stay away, can't he? And we can just get on with doing what we want to do, right sides together, so that that's it, they all. So you can see how some meet absolutely perfectly. Some of them just need that extra little bit of help. I've got a couple more extra there. So again, all we're going to do is clip these apart. So clip, clip, and clip. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've got one pile here, and then we'll do the rest of them here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, that one moved a little bit too far, because what we don't want to do really is to clip our fabric. So we have got 5 there. So we've got our 5 all sewn together now. So again, let's just pull in the iron. Here are our blocks, and again, let's have them horizontally so that they open like that. We'll put that one there, and again, we're going to just set the seam, open that side up, easier to push away from you, and then put towards you, and there is our little block ready done. So one, a little bit of steam. You can see I like my steam, but I don't want to stretch my blocks. So set the seam, push it out and back towards you. Set the seam, push it away, back towards you. Set the seam, away, back towards you. So therapeutic. I'm going to have 2 exactly the same as these, aren't I? Quite often I do a different colourway when I come to do the demonstration, but tonight my brain wouldn't allow me to think of another colour scheme. I've got my fabrics there, and it was just easier to do exactly the same, and especially as I like the colours. A little bit different to ones we've done before, in that it's quite subtle with the greys, but the difference in hue, having the paler and the darker, actually makes the design stand out pretty well. So there are our blocks, all of our blocks, all in the same orientation. So all the darks here, darks and darks. How I want them to look is I want the darks in the top right and bottom, no, sorry, top left, bottom right. So what we're going to do now is how we're going to lay them out. So laying them out, let me just get my, oops. Right, let's just get our mat here. And if I do it this way, you'll be able to see. So all we're going to do, we're going to put them in exactly the same orientation of the dark one in the top left and the dark one in the bottom right. And all we're going to do is have 4 rows 1, 2, 3, 3 rows, no, 4 rows of 3. So dark is there, dark, 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 dark. Oh, we've got enough. So we only need 12. So we've got all of those 12 all laid out. They're all in the same orientation, as you see. And the usual, because we don't want them to, now you could flip them round. So that way you've got a pale centre. Can you see how that looks different? So we've got all the pales in the centre. But I want this leading line of dark, which is why, let's see, I've moved that one around, haven't I? Which is why I have them all set in exactly the same way, in that the dark is top left and bottom right. So just because I want them to be in that position, I don't want them to come apart. So what we're going to do, we're going to stitch it all in one go. So I'm going to put the middle row onto my left, or the middle column onto my left hand row. Okay, onto my left hand column even. So I'm now going to stitch that together, that, and that. And I'm not going to let them come apart. I'm going to leave those just like that. And let's see, if I move that over here, then I can be able to take, there we are. So I'm going to take this top one now, and I'm going to align that edge. Now you'll see, sometimes the seams are going to nest, and on this one it does, because that seam's going that way and the one behind is going the other way. So nest those seams and it fits perfectly, which is exactly what we want to happen. So if you want to put a pin in here, let's put a pin. Okay, so if you want to put a pin where the seams come together, absolutely fine. But you'll see what I do is I might do the odd one. Oops, no, I'm just cutting my thread now. Okay, so let's go again. So I'm just going to sew down this one. I'm going to take my pin out before I go any further. I've thrown it somewhere. And when I come to the bottom, I'm not going to cut that thread. I'm going to take my next one here, align that. I can feel that nest, that go into that nest there, and that lines up beautifully there. So it's going to go straight under the needle, and we're going to carry on stitching all the way to the bottom. And then I'm going to take my next one down here, do exactly the same. Now this one, it's just because it's the way I've got it round, they don't happen to nest. They're both going in the same way. So either pin there or just hold it together. It still matches at this end. Hold that together and just push I'm pushing my finger down on there so that it doesn't move. Now it has moved here, so I'm just going to move that over so that aligns perfectly and stitch that. And then I'm taking my last one from the bottom here, and this one nests, so let's nest that together, move that to the top there, that nests beautifully, and down to the bottom here. Okay, so I'm going to take it back to the board because we're going to that's it, let's bring that over, take this back onto where it came from, and now we can open it out like this, and they're all together, but they're just joined by that single thread. And oh, that one's flipped the other way. That's it, so they're all open. And the next thing we're going to do is take this far right hand column and we're going to pop that on there. Now because they're joined together, and when I go to, I'll just put that pin there, and when I go to move it, they're going to fall off. So this is just a temporary fix in that I'll just put a pin. I'm not lining it up in particular, but I'm putting a pin in there to hold it on there. And similarly, this one is coming over here, just so that I I've got it in the right direction, and the bottom one here goes onto that bottom one in the middle, and that is all now held together. Even if I just go like that and it falls, it is held together. So I'm going to push that out of the way, and they're all holding on to each other there. So, which is exactly what we want. We don't want them to fall apart. So when we come to do this very first one, I'm going to take that pin out, and I am just going to line these up now. So I can nest that seam and that top edge. So as soon as I've got that beautifully nested, I'm going to put it under the needle and start stitching. So move that over. So I've got these hanging here, but they're all held together because I've just put a pin just to hold it there. Okay, so now I've pulled my pin out, but I've got my nesting, and I'll just put my finger on it there, and then I'll move on to the next one here. Take that pin out, but this one nests also. Okay, so we'll line that seam up there and nest over the nest down there. Here is my next one. Where is my pin? Oh, there is my pin. My pin is there holding it to the right square in the right orientation, and again that one nests as well. So as I say, if it doesn't nest, it doesn't matter. It just means it's been moved around. Some do and some don't. I must admit this has got far more nesting than my original one did. So there is my last one here. There is my pin, so I know that's correct. That's pushed up a little bit. And this one is nesting as well. So I'm just nesting that seam together and straight under the needle. Now it's come apart there, so I'm just going to move that over a little bit so that lines up properly. So now we have got all of them together, and we can see whether they are in the right direction or the wrong direction. But as we can see, there we are, they are all correct. Now I do want to give it a little press now, so we'll bring the ironing board back in and just take it onto the mat here. So we could see that they were all correct, but we now need to do a little bit of pressing. Now, as the instructions say, we want this top row, we're going to press the seams together, but in one direction. So let me just flip it over. If I flip it like that, it'll be easier to press. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. And what we're going to do, we're going to have the top one here. I'll have them going that way. I'm going to have the second row going in the opposite direction, the third one going the same as the first, and the fourth one going the same as the second. So I'm going to pull at one end and just give that, yeah, no, that doesn't really want to go that way. Yes, that's going that way, that's right. So we'll press that way. You can press the ones in the middle that have already been pressed. So that one's going that way. Then this one is going to go that way. So it is easier to turn it around. So because I can't push across that way, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'll do the first one, miss that one, and I'm going to do this next one. So this next one is going the same way that the first one did, which is towards my left. Just give that a press down as well. Now the other two I want the opposite. So that I can still press in that direction, if I turn it around, and now I'll do my second and fourth. So you can see here, the top row, they're going that way. I can now press this way with the second. Although I'm pressing what appears to be the same direction, it is opposite to the first and the third. So there's the second, and again the third now is going that way, so I want the fourth one here to go this way. Okay, just give those other seams a little press. What we do want, really, is these all to be nicely flat. You can see they are. So I'm just pressing those original ones. Okay, so I've got all that now. So I'm flipping it out the right way. And now all I'm going to do is take the top row and move it down onto the second row. And what we'll do, I'll go a little bit closer. I'll take this back to the machine and move that iron board out of the way and come back in. So here we do need a little bit of meeting of seams, and it's already joined there where that thread is. We have pressed the seams so that it nests, and on this occasion I do like to have my seams nesting and pinned, so that has joined together beautifully there. So I'm going to pin where the matching ones come together. Now you'll also notice that there is also a seam here and here which need to be matched, and I usually do that as I go along. Or there's 3 seams across there, so match that very first one, and then these others will just come together. So you can pin if you want to pin, but I am just going to hold my finger down on that first one, and then I can actually I'm holding this here and I'm looking at the side. I know you can't see, but I'm looking at the side there just to see that the next one nests and the next one does as well. And then here, where I put my pin in, I'm just going to hold my finger on there so that that nests. And then I'm looking at that next one there. Just give it a pull so that that matches beautifully. And then I think we're raining. And then hold that one too. There is not nesting, but I'm just holding that on top. And then I've come to the nesting seam with the pin. Take that pin out and go on. Well, that's pretty good timing, because I think we've almost completed this, but I just need to see that very last one there. Okay, so let's just have a look to see how they've come together. So they are not bad at all. So here, 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 because of our nesting. So having done that part, we now want to, we've got 2 more rows to join. Blooming rain. So I'm now going to take this row, well, we've got the 2 joined together here. We're going to go down onto this next row there. So again, I'm looking at my nesting, which is there. I'm just going to, I'll pin that, because I think you may want to pin at your nesting, especially the first one. So pin at that nesting, and then just see where that very first one comes. Now that one is going together beautifully. Oh, that was a short, sharp shower. So we'll put that first little bit under the machine. And as I say, I just look at the side here and just make sure they are nesting nicely. Ow. And then the next one there, that is 2. And then we'll come up to where we pinned anyway. And let's just have a look. So here's our next nesting one, which is the seam in between the 2 squares. So we'll just hold that, and I can feel that. And then I'm just looking at the sides to see that they are lying on top of each other. There and there. So I've got my finger on the nesting because I know that's lower. This one opens up, so you can see that opening there. So I can just hold that, and I'm pulling that to that one, and then the next one is nesting there beautifully, and there, right to the end. Okay, so I've got 3 now that are joined together, and we've just got this bottom one here. So I could actually flip that around, and then I'm just going to pull it down onto the one below. So again, that very first nesting seam, because we chain pieced it and it's held together, that actually helps the nesting happen without you doing much at all. So it's this first little bit here. Yes, the rain's gone now, fortunately. It's because I'm in a conservatory and it actually exaggerates the noise. So I've got that first one in place, and I can see that next one is nesting. So I'm going to put my finger over there, and that next one is as well. Right up to where we had the pin, and my next nesting seam, that's going together nicely just at that one there. So I'll just hold that, and then I can see the next ones are coming together. And as I say, this is where, if you are, oh, let's just check that one out. Oh, yes. This is where, if you're accurate with your cutting and your 1/4 inch seams, these will all just come together without making much effort at all. So there we are, and there's that next one. And that's what we want. We just want an easy life when it comes to stitching these together. So I've got that all together now. So we're just going to do that final bit of pressing. Do you really want to see the iron again? But it's coming in because I do believe it makes all the difference having pressing your work as you go. There we are. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it upside down so that I can see the seams. And we still have steam, so I'm pulling at one end just to make sure those seams are going together and in the right direction. All of these I'm just going to press upwards or away from me because it's the easiest way for me of pressing from the, oh, that does come up a little bit, that's it, pressing from my right to my left. For you, it may be from the left to the right. It doesn't matter at all. So I'm just pressing that down. And you can see there that all of those squares, fortunately, they're all lying nice and flat. And then we can give that final press because it does make such a difference when you get used to pressing. So let's just pull that, and just give it a little bit of oomph steam. There we are. Okay, and that is everything done. All done in just over half 7:30. So I think we have done pretty well tonight in getting that all done. So straight back up again. Okay. So there it is. Okay, we've got our, where are we? We've got our darks in the top left and bottom right, but it looks a bit darker than my other one, but it isn't. It's exactly the same. There we are. There we are. As I say, the back, I'm not ashamed to show you the back because they all lay pretty nicely as well. It is available as a kit, Jack, on the website. It has got a discount code, so please put the code in. I think I've got it on at $19.99, but there's a code to bring it down to my usual price for this size. Now, what I haven't done, and which I know you'll be able to do quite easily, I haven't put the borders on. So the borders will go on quite straightforwardly. All you will do with borders is to add, there will be strips in there for your borders in the kits. You will put the top and the bottom first. So it does say in the instructions, if you measure across the top, the width, and you measure the bottom, and they should be the same. I can't remember what the actual measurement should be. Probably 12.5, I think. It should be across the top and the bottom. If it isn't, what I would do, I would find the happy medium, because you do want to have the strips that you cut to go along the top and the bottom need to be exactly the same size. So if your bottom is about 12.25 and the top's 12.5, when you put I would cut 12.5, and I would make the bottom fit. I would pull it a little bit so that it fits, and then give it a good steam. Oh, I'm glad you're liking this. So you do the top and the bottom, then you press the seams, the borders back so that they're open and you can see, and then you pop the sides on. So the sides, that wasn't neat, and oh, that was a horrible witch. But the more you do it the ways that I show you, the more the back is going to be just as good as the front. Well, not quite, I'm exaggerating there. So after top and bottom, you do side and side in exactly the same way. Measure the sides and have both border sides exactly the same. Then press. Then you'll put your second border, the outer border, on as well, which is, oh, I should show you this one really, shouldn't I? So we put this floral one, then you put the outer one. You can see this is the top. You can see by the seam line there that I've put the top one on and the bottom one, and then you can see the length of the sides comes from the top, so the side ones come on second. And then you just complete it like you have all your other quilts. So the quilting, as you can see, I use the squares, so the squares as my guides. So here I'm always going diagonally through, and in both directions actually, but you just do start, say in one corner, go through the diagonals, look for that colour point there where the light and the dark grey meet, down to the next floral one, cross the diagonal. If you do need to draw on there, by all means do. You could use chalk marker, you could use heat erasable pen. Yes, little animals in the middle, absolutely. So if you were having a directional fabric, what you will need to say, when you lay your fabric down, have it the right way up, and then make sure your dark is in the left, top left and bottom right. And then it will all go together swimmingly. But that would look really, really nice. It would actually, if you did it with 24, so double the size, you could have an advent calendar, couldn't you? You could have a different Christmas motif in each one. If you've got an embroidery machine, what range are the greys from Trisha? They are the ditzy ones. They are, ooh, I think they're called tonal ditsies. That's what they are. Haven't got them on the website. We did have them in one of the subscription boxes a couple of weeks ago. No, a couple of months ago. So they are, I have got them and I have got plenty of them. But they are really, really nice because they are tonal. So, and they're Macawa fabrics. But you can see, as I say, from the back, I am very proud of the back. And the other thing, you've got 2 walking feet. Do you think, oh, Catherine, find your walking foot. I did use a 3.5 stitch length. Can you see it's that bit bigger? And it nearly, it's not a, you can quite often have on your machines a faux hand stitching one. But this is just a standard 3.5 stitch length, and it just gives the impression of being being stitched by hand, although it's not. Oh, never mind, Patricia. Yes, absolutely right. I think you did. I had a Grey's subscription box. I did indeed. So that is it for another month. I do feel, where are we? We're in month 7. There will be, you know, I've got mini quilt books 1 and 2. There will be another one coming out. Now, obviously, you won't need to buy that, but there's lots of people who are not in the group that bought the mini quilt 1 and mini quilts 2. So there will be a mini quilts 3. I mean, obviously, if you had 1 and 2 and you're in the group, you probably want number 3 as well. But that is for another day to get that all together. But I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you like it. Another something a little bit different. I called it Flower Pop because the flowers pop in the centre there. Oh, good. Oh, good. And also, as we had a plique last time, not everybody loves a plique, but it is good to learn and have a practice and get to like these things. Sometimes it's just something, no, I don't like a plique. So this time it is true patchwork and also fairly straightforward, which I'm sure you'll agree. 7 months, yes. Yeah, we're nearly the end of July, so 7 months. So actually, we're more than halfway through this year, as far as the group goes. So thank you, everybody, for being a member of this group. It is fantastic that you are supporting me, and I hope that what I'm giving back to you, you enjoy too. Well, I'm sure you do. That's a silly question because you tell me all the time. So, thank you so much for joining me. The PDF is in the group. Obviously, the demo is here. For anybody watching later, there is a kit in the group, on the website. It's been a long day. On the website, should you want it, to buy it. And it will be these colours. Please use the code. There is a code in the group. Oh, thank you, Gita. There is a code. Use that code to get a discount on the website price. You're so glad you joined. Oh, thank you, everybody. You make me feel, you make me feel so warm inside that to know that you're enjoying it. Anyhow, I'm going to love you and leave you. My dinner is calling. My supper, my dinner, in fact. Hopefully Martin has got, I did say 7:45, and 5 minutes to go. Bingo! Oh, thank you, Janet. Oh, I hope you're well. I hadn't noticed you about of late, but I hope you're well, and Martin. So, enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow. I will, Pollyann, I will. At 6 o'clock with another deal of the day. Tonight's one will obviously finish probably after 6. I will take it off after. Or perhaps that was me making all the website go wrong earlier. But yes, so it'll be on for another, 24 hours, won't it? Yeah, indeed. So, okay, Shirley, it will be in the group, so don't worry, you'll be able to watch it again and again. But thank you for joining me tonight. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow, and then on Thursday. Bye for now.